Golf Magazine's top 100 courses in the world list is out. And if you are anything like me when it comes to these lists, you're like, all these courses are great, but what makes them great? G-R-E-A-T. I've got good news for you guys. I asked the people who make these lists that exact question, the course panelists, the course raters, what makes a golf course great? Here is what they said. First, it needs to have variety. Great courses have variety. And that can mean like variety in land movement, of course. You go up and you go down. Like Augusta National, land movement, it's incredible. But really, Rand Morissette, the governor of our list, says golf courses need to have a variety in obstacles and hazards. Think about the first hole at the old course at St. Andrews. You have to hit over this snaky little burn. It's frankly the best water hazard in the world, if you're asking me. But then on the 17th hole, you have to hit over this old railroad shed, even maybe over the corner of a hotel. Think about Royal Liverpool, the first hole and the 16th hole. You have to bend around the corner and maybe hit over the out of bounds of a driving range. Think about North Berwick, where you are asked to hit over rock walls, centuries old rock walls. You have to do it 3 different times. Sometimes it's really tricky to get over the wall, other times it's really simple, but the bottom line is a variety in obstacles offers you a variety of strategies, and it makes you think, and suddenly you are asked to show off a variety of skill sets. It is all about variety. Great courses also have magnificent greens, great greens, if you will. And by greens, we mean green complexes, like not just the shortest mown turf on the property, but where the greens are located, the height of the green, the ridges of the green, how they judge what is a good shot from a great shot or a good shot from a bad shot. I asked one of our raters, his name is Philip Gawith, why greens are so important to a great golf course. And he said, take it straight from C.B. Macdonald. Now that is one of the greatest golf architects of all time. Macdonald said, putting greens to a golf course are what the face is to a portrait. In other words, the course is the body, and the face, the greens, they tell the story and the character of that course. We love that quote from Mr. Macdonald, but let's let his work on greens do the talking. And for that, we go right to Chicago Golf Club, right? There is the double thumbprint on the 10th hole. It's the short little par 3. These thumbprints in the green, they reject these high lofted 9-irons and wedges. There's the punch bowl 12th, which you hit a little wedge up to an area, you're not quite sure where the pin is, then you take a walk and you see how close you got. Find out what awaits you. There's the Biarritz and its epic dip between these 2 putting platforms. And as far as Biarritz greens around the world go, this one is kind of tame, but that's not the point. The point is you are going to walk off that property and you are going to think about that Biarritz green. You are going to think about the greens at Chicago Club the 3rd time you play the course, the 7th time you play the course. They will always be top of mind when you play that golf course. Now, thirdly, great courses fit into their natural surroundings. We've all heard that phrase before, but what does it look like? It looks like Tara Iti. Course rater Stephen Lapper says a great course needs to be, quote, fine-tailored for its environment. And look at what Tara Iti's environment is. The fairways move like the waist area moves. The mounds on the course, they heave just like the dunes heave. Tara Iti, it looks like there was a golf course underneath all this scruff, and you took one gigantic razor blade to find where the fairways are. The different levels of topography at Tara Iti, they blend so seamlessly, right? You have fairway that drops right off into the sand of bunkers. You have sand that runs right up under the dune grasses and shrubs. None of it looks man-made. It looks as if it's been there for a very long time. And the irony, of course, is Tara Iti hasn't even celebrated its 10th birthday yet, but it looks like it's been there for half a century. And lastly, this is a big one. Great golf courses have a special setting. You can't quantify this, but does a golf course have a sense of place? It takes a long travel day to get to Bandon Dunes, to get to Cabot Cliffs. These are on opposite ends of North America, but by the time you arrive, you feel like you are somewhere. The setting of these courses up against the ocean, it brings you a sense of place. And you could say the same thing about the tall pines and the sandy waste areas of Pinehurst. They constantly remind you that you are in the sand hills of North Carolina. Cruden Bay, across the world, it places you at the foot of this small seaside, cute little town. It fits among the dunes of a very specific part of Scotland. You play between them and into them, and you even find yourself out of breath when you scale their peaks. Royal Portrush, up at the tip of Northern Ireland, it's no different. You weave among the dunes for these various holes, and then suddenly one of the holes has a green that essentially falls off into the Atlantic Ocean. This is a golf setting that you are never gonna forget once you visit it for the first time. Now, is there any one course in the world that's gonna check all these boxes? Maybe. I mean, Pine Valley has been number one for decades and decades and decades, and there is no one that is really gonna vote Pine Valley outside of the top three. But it is not a unanimous number one for a reason, right? We have 119 raters. They are all different. They all view courses differently. And if this is a competition of sorts, it's a subjective one, where there are judges that really love pristine conditions and presentation, and then other judges who are obsessed with the flow of a golf course. Thomas Brown highlighted Pebble Beach's flow, especially in certain corners of it, like the 6th hole, this par 5 that goes up to this green, followed by this short little par 3 that goes down to this landing zone, playing in the wind. The next hole is epic par 4, a true two-shotter, 2 important shots. That's the 8th hole. The flow of Pebble Beach is incredible. So depending on who you are talking to, the checklist of a great course is not just these 4 things, it's probably 6 or 7, maybe even a dozen things. But it starts here with magnificent greens, a seamlessness with its surrounds, a real sense of place, and then a wicked variety of features that ask unique questions of all its visitors. Check all those boxes and you are on your way to something truly special.